What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, August 17th, 2024, and we are back with another stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Glad for you to be here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to all of the members here on the channel. Shout out to everybody over there on Patreon. If you are on Patreon by now, you figured out what the True Crime Sunday episode will be for tomorrow. I will do the pre-show over here on YouTube tomorrow at 11:30, and then we will head on over to Patreon to do the actual live itself. So be sure to be in tune for that. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. Shout out, and especially if you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you go ahead and do that. Everybody on X, Instagram, those who send me stories, I'm glad that you are all here. So as you can see today, we are finally going to be talking about this imposter. That's all I can really call her at this point. Is this imposter who thought she was a breaker, who goes by the name of Raygun out of Australia. And man, has it been a lot of controversy behind that. But before we get into all of that, let me acknowledge those who are in the chat. We have Bert, Raging Woody, DSB, Denise Scales, Firebat, Dark Matter, Earl Owens, Dark Titan, DSM Sinister, Dewani, Reparation Nation, Robert Brown, Wallow J, Jad Bad, live from NYC, Foodophilia, Red Eyed Raven 101, Isaac S. George, Chief X Ali, Grape Shot, D Wood Part 2, Celebrity Style Magazine, Bills Fan 1970, Cosmo Fury, Black to Black, New Arrows, George, and shout out to Live from NYC for the first contribution of the day with the 20. They said, being from NYC, I was looking forward to this in the Olympics. Highly disappointed. Damn near all of the dancers competing were a joke. There was just one Asian chick that was halfway decent, and then you put 3 clown emojis behind that. I think that is more than deserving, but I appreciate your contribution. We also have Joanne Burrell, Sanchez 73, Shay Shell, and Kingdom of Garvin. I'm glad that everybody is here, and if anyone else comes in, welcome to the chat. So the first thing I want to talk about is not even her, but I wanted to give an update on a stream that I did a couple days ago. Because like I said, I'm trying to get all these Olympics stories out. That's why I did the Quincy Hall video today, even though I just recorded it a few days ago and I jumped it ahead of a commentary that was supposed to go up today, and that wanted to just go up on Monday. But there's been an update with the whole Jordan Child situation. And in case y'all have not heard, the update that has come is that she is going to be able to keep her bronze medal. So that's the latest update that has happened. I actually found out about this last night. Someone had posted up a short, someone I'm subscribed to. So as y'all know, I did a live about this a couple days ago. So she will be able to keep her gold medal. And what they ended up doing is they ended up giving the Anna Barbosu girl, they just gave her a bronze medal without Jordan having to turn over the medal that she won. So that's the update right there. And I think they said that Jordan somewhere said that she broke her silence after this happened. Basically to address the comments that she was receiving, more so of the racial comments that she received. But and also she was just, thanking everybody for the outpour of support that she's received over the last week, because she did get a lot of support. So that's that. But I keep telling you, this was a politics thing. And I think when when the Prime Minister of Romania stuck his nose into it, that's when it blew up and turned into this thing. If y'all need more information about the whole situation, make sure and catch the playback of the Jordan Child stream that I did earlier in the week. So I just wanted to bring that up. So now we can go ahead and get into what we came here to discuss. Man, let me tell you, the memes surrounding this travesty, because that's what this is nothing to be praised, but the memes And the commentary that I've heard behind this is absolutely insane. Now, let me just give y'all a disclaimer right now. I'm not going to play any footage from when she was doing her performance. The reason why is because I've heard through the grapevine that people have been having some stuff happen with their channels when they play it, if they do choose to discuss this. By now, everybody has seen it and no one wants to see it again. But this is just me giving my commentary. That way I don't have to talk about it ever again. So as they all already know, breaking made its debut at the 2024 Olympics in Paris. It was announced, I believe, last year, and I think somebody just sent me a cash app because I can hear the chime on my phone, but I can't get to it. But whoever that was that sent me the cash app, I appreciate it. But it made its debut, and I'm sitting here saying to myself, on one hand, I'm glad that, I'm like, I said it's intriguing that breaking is, an Olympic event. In the back of my mind, I'm sitting there saying to myself, how in the world did that even happen? And even further back in my mind, I'm saying to myself, something's going to happen. I'm not going to get too overly excited about this. And it's a good thing that I didn't. And then when I saw who they was having in the lineup to be in the competition, I said, yeah, this is not going to go well. But who would have thought it was going to turn into this? Now, this I honestly did not see coming. So you had this Australian who competed, who goes by the name of Raygun, but her full name is Rachel. And she competed and did one of the worst performances in quote unquote breaking that I have ever seen and that the world probably ever seen. And I think what makes this really, really upsetting, besides the fact that she looked absolutely ridiculous, is that an art form that was created by us, by, FBA, many, many moons ago, was put on the grand stage and made a mockery of by this woman. I think that's probably the part that pisses a lot of people, including myself, off when you really break it down into its simplest form, onto the molecular level. For those who probably never even seen what breaking is and never even heard of it, they got their first wind of it by looking at her and are looking at this like, what in the hell is going on? But there has been pushback by many people, not even including us. People in Australia was even pushing back against this and saying how she made a mockery and embarrassment of herself and how she embarrassed the nation. Yes, there are people out there who live in Australia that didn't like what she did because they feel she wasn't a good representation of their nation. JB said, I'm almost scared to see that. Well, JB, if you haven't seen it by now, you don't want to see it. All I'm going to say is this. She did this maneuver where she was laying on the ground and she was like doing, it looked like a bad aerobic exercise. She looked like a fish that was thrown out of water. Like, you know how a fish, when it's taken out of its water, out of its habitat, and it's flopping around on the floor or wherever it's at, that's what she was up there looking like. And it became a running joke. Live said she was breaking, B-R-A-K-I-N-G, not breaking. I like how you did that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this first article because I have a few things I have to show y'all. And this is coming from the Washington Post. It says, in Australia, Raygun's 0 points in the Olympic breaking is a perfect score. I'm trying to figure out how in the world a 0 is a perfect score. How were they scoring this thing if she had a perfect score? Which, by the way, she did not advance past the qualifying round. She was eliminated. She did so bad in the qualifying round that all they would have to do is get up there and maybe hit a Cabbage Patch one good time, maybe a little pop lock, and they would have scored higher than she did. That's how bad she did. To give you an JB and anyone else in the chat who didn't watch it, to give you an imagery of how bad she was. Someone could have got up there and spun around a couple of times on one foot, and they would have advanced to the next round. That's how terrible she did. So let's see what this article is talking about. Paris was Australia's most successful Olympic Games in history with 18 gold medals, but it was Raygun, an Olympic B girl who finished far from the podium, who had the most viral moment. Rachel Gunn, aka Raygun, lost her 3-round robin breaking battles Friday by scores of 18-0, 18-0, and 18-0. Her signature moves included the quote-unquote kangaroo paw. Oh my God. Now that they mentioned the name of the move, because I didn't even know it had a move, but when I saw that, I thought she was trying to be one of the zombie dancers from the Thriller video. Y'all know how that maneuver that Michael Jackson does in the Thriller video, and the zombies do the one where they stick their foot up and they do the thing with the arm, almost looking like a T-Rex. That's what she did, and that picture went super viral. I mean, this thing has floated everywhere. It's probably, if they haven't done it already, it's probably been a skit on SNL. I'm almost certain of it. I don't know if the season of SNL is on right now or not, but if it is, I'm almost certain that they're turning that into a skit if they haven't done so already. They said it quickly became the subject of countless memes and a parody sketch on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. You speak through your dance moves, Fallon quipped before joining in as the American actress and comedian Rachel Dratch hopped and writhed across the stage in a caricature of Raygun. Gunn's day job is as a lecturer with research interests including the cultural politics of breaking and the role of street dance in public spaces. A former jazz and ballroom dancer, the 36-year-old began breaking in her 20s after being introduced to the sport by her husband. The fact that they have now labeled this as a sport. Now keep this in mind, y'all. This is Australia. She's all the way in Australia. This is not in the States. They deemed breaking a sport out there. And they said she's 36 now. She's 1 year older than me. And she said that she's been doing this since she was in her 20s. So you're talking about 6 years ago and back. It says she represented Australia at the World Championships in Paris in 2021 and in Seoul in 2022. In a weekend news conference, Gunn acknowledged her underdog status in a competition that had pitched her against a mostly teenage lineup. I was never going to beat these girls on what they do best, the dynamic power move, she said. Well, here's the thing. There are people that are around her age that could actually do breaking the way it's supposed to be done. I don't know what she got up there and thought she was doing. Like I said earlier, like a couple minutes ago, someone could have got up there and just did a simple little two-step and would have went past her with what she was doing. I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw her pictures, I thought she was older than 36. And when I saw that she was 36, I said, "Oh, okay." She moved like she was an AARP car carrying member. Shoot, there's some people that carry AARP cars who can dance a whole lot better than she can. Amid an internet backlash with some questioning how she even qualified for the competition, Australia's Olympic chef de mission, Anna Meares, praised Gunn for representing the team and the Olympic spirit with great enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, but did that secure a win for you? No, it did not. And I think that was just a politically correct response given by this woman. Videos emerged on social media of Gunn putting on an impromptu performance for her teammates on the streets of Paris after her competition to cheers of approval. Raygun had a crack. Good on her. Based on how she moves, something tells me she was taking something. Let me continue. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told reporters Sunday, that is in the Australian tradition of people having a go. She had a go representing our country, and that's a good thing. These individuals out there in Australia are delusional if they think this was good representation of their nation. Raygun stepped up and did her stuff in front of the world her way, former Australian soccer player Craig Foster wrote on X. Not everyone can say that in life. Gunn did not immediately respond to an interview request. The Bituta Advocate, an Australian satirical website, announced a limited run of t-shirts on Instagram celebrating the B-girl who put the kangaroo paws and the sprinkler on the world stage. Referring to a celebratory dance, that imitates a garden sprinkler popularized by England's cricket team during a 2010 series against Australia. So it seems to me bad dance moves is something that is just spreading rampant out there in Australia. Some social media users unofficially declared her Napoleon Vegemite, Australians' answer to the celebrated dance scene in the indie comedy Napoleon Dynamite. The Batuta Advocate editor Clancy Overell, whose real name is Archer Hamilton, said there were multiple reasons for Australia's embrace of the endearing performance. And I want y'all to understand this. They're saying all these nice things now, but as we go forward, you're going to actually find out for the real of how people really felt. This is only coming from a small handful of people who claim that she represented them well. I don't know what they saw. One was reverse tall poppy syndrome, he said, referring to the Australian compulsion to cut anyone who was too successful down to size. Another was an impulse to rally around an Australian who was being criticized by outsiders, especially by Americans. Somebody is mad at us. Somebody out there is mad at us. Let me read that again. They said another was an impulse to rally around an Australian who was being criticized by outsiders, especially by Americans. Well, considering breaking started here, I think we have every right to critique it as we see fit. What she did up on that stage was not it. It's another great Olympic memory for Australia. He said she was having fun. That's the thing that resonated with everyone, if you say so. Olympic breaking head judge Martin Gillian said at a news conference that breaking is all about originality and bringing something new to the table and representing your country or region. Well, if she brought originality and all this style, then why did she score 0? Why didn't she advance? Why did the other person she was competing against go forward? Is the question. This is exactly what Raygun was doing. He says she got inspired by her surroundings, which in this case, for example, was a kangaroo. A kangaroo. Oh, the jokes just write themselves. This is funny. This is funny. Her performance was not universally praised, however. Some question whether a white woman should have been chosen to represent Australia in a sport that originated on the streets of New York in the 1970s. There are incredible dances in places like Western Sydney, just one example, where black and brown people are honing their skills, and they had to do the black and brown thing. As y'all can see, black and brown, that's not just in the States. They do the black and brown thing everywhere they go. It's gotten that widespread. In arenas not recognized by establishment institutions, and they hub Madhawk, a social justice campaigner, wrote on X, this is a reflection on the whiteness of Australian sport and of Australian attitudes. Since the 2018 announcement of the breaking's inclusion into the Paris Games, concerns were raised about paying appropriate homage to the genre's black roots. Australia entrant in the B-Boys division of the competition, 16-year-old Jeff J. Attack Dunn, who was born in the Philippines and was adopted as a baby by an Australian family, also failed to progress to the knockout stages. In a recent academic paper, Gunn and her co-author Lucas Marie argued that breaking's institutionalization via the Olympics will place breaking more firmly within this sporting nation's hegemonic settler colonial structures that rely upon racially and gendered hierarchies. She also expressed frustration that after the announcement of breaking's inclusion in the game, some well-intentioned interviews were turned into a gag for Australian audiences to laugh at the notion of breaking being an Olympic sport. It may be a one-time inclusion. The Los Angeles 2028 chose sports such as flag football and squash to make their Olympic debut, along with T20 cricket, a popular sport in Australia that has struggled to captivate Americans before. So there's that. Mr. J said Karen sucked. Now she butthurt. She funny as hell though. Live said, I apologize to all the kangaroos. Jabbat said nobody even called themselves brown unless it's black and brown. Exactly. Denise said black and brown, no elision. Oh, I like how you did that. Just Z said, yep, LL Cool J, Rev Run, or other hip hop influencers should have been judges. Paradigm says, as always, white folks will try and fake praise their losers. Kush King said, "Kangaroo Jill." If y'all know the reference, you understand why Kush King said that. La said, "Cricket is the most confusing game." And I've never watched a video of a cricket match, so I can't even call it, but it sounds like it's confusing. FM said, cricket is stickball, it's boring. Oh, well, then that'll explain why it hasn't grabbed mass appeal. Now, notice, let me go back down to that now that y'all said that. It says that cricket, a popular sport in Australia that has struggled to captivate Americans before. So what did I tell y'all? We are the trendsetters of the world. The fact that they said cricket hasn't been able to captivate Americans just tells you that because it hasn't, and it cannot. That's why it hasn't been put in. And now also because the Olympics is going to be in LA in 2028, if it doesn't grab the Americans' attentions, they're not going to have it. So Jazzy said, I wanted to come to LA in 2028 on US, on us. I'm not sure if you meant on us or the US. It says you would know it would be better. Right. Jib Star says, why aren't FBA breakdancers speaking out against this, though? Seems like a mockery. That's a good question, Jib Star. Or maybe they have said something, but we just don't know what they said. But let's continue and go on to the next article. This one is coming from the New York Post, dated August 14, 2024. Australians signed petition to hold Rachel Raygun and Anna Meares accountable for unethical conduct after Olympics debacle. That's why I said, y'all, that people in Australia aren't feeling this. And shout out to Ozzy Edwards for being a member of the channel for 23 months. Ozzy said the fact they're trying to call that garbage breakdancing is a joke, a slap in our faces, and an insult to our intelligence. I couldn't agree more.
You ain't got to be a dope boy to have money.
So, like I said before, people in Australia were so irate with this that they took out a whole petition and to say how they need to be held accountable for unethical conduct. Let's read into this and see the details of this petition and how far did this petition go. It says the unfortunate butterfly effect of Rachel Raygun's sudden rise to fame has continued, with a petition now being launched to hold her and Anna Meares accountable for unethical conduct. Raygun has been the topic of countless viral internet memes in the wake of her flailing on stage during the first and potentially last Olympic breaking event. Everyone from talk show host Jimmy Fallon to Barbara down the road has thrown their 2 cents at the 36-year-old Aussie. Some believe Gunn's left-of-field performance that fell horribly flat in the front of Paris breakdancing judges was an affront to the Australian Olympics teams and the nation as a whole. But others have rallied behind the Aussie underdog for achieving a dream of hers and doing it her own way. The main thing that has baffled critics is exactly how Raygun emerged atop the list of female breakdancers in Australia, with sporting commentators like Andrew Voss questioning why we even sent a breakdancer to compete if Raygun was the top of the pack. That's what I'd like to know. Who was the other person or persons that she beat to get there, to qualify? And I didn't even catch this. Shout out to DSB for gifting 10 memberships. I think this is the first time I've seen anybody gift memberships on my channel, but let's see who did he give memberships to. We got Hacksign KT, Iron Will, PD That Remains, The Fundraiser, Tamiri, Michael McCullough, Seneca, TJ, Trey979, and Matthew Wilson. Shout out to y'all for not being members for a good month. Y'all can thank DSB for that. And also shout out to Denise for the 5. She said, this was a nightmare. Glad it will not be at the 20. I'm gonna correct you right quick, Denise. At the 2028, you put 2029, but I understand what you mean. At the 2028 LA Olympics, I'm right there.
When you're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite, Woodrow.
I appreciate you. The IOC's radical decision to include such a niche subculture and expecting it to land with billions of viewers has also been called into question. The Change.org petition, created by an account called Someone Who Hates Corruption, is calling for immediate action and accountability in the recent selection process, putting Chef Domitian and Amiras in the spotlight. The petition, addressed to Anthony Albanese, argues that the inclusion of Gunn and the green lighting of her performance at the games raises serious concerns about the integrity of the selection procedure. The petition, which boldly alleges that Gunn manipulated the selection process to her own advantage, arguing that more talented and qualified breakdancers such as G. Clef and Holy Molly were unfairly overlooked. We demand a public apology from Rachel Gunn and Anna Mears for misleading the Australian public and attempting to gaslight the public and undermining the efforts of genuine athletes. The strong-worded petition reads, we also call for a full investigation into the selection process, an audit of Dr. Gunn's business dealings, and a global public apology to the breaking community for the unethical behavior that has tainted this sport. So as you can see, the people of Australia are speaking out and speaking loudly. So this thing runs pretty deep. And shout out again to Ozzy for another contribution with the 5. He says, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they going to have pole dancing in 2028? I have no clue. This is if that's been in talks, this is my first time hearing about it, but I appreciate the contribution.
What did I say? Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!
I appreciate you, though. Rachel Gunn's lack of ethics and morals raises serious concerns about her fitness to teach and hold any position of authority in the sport or university. Australia must do better by its athletes and ensure that the principles of fairness, transparency, and integrity are upheld in all aspects of Olympic selection. The petition has attracted over 23,000 signatures in just 2 days. In another disappointing turn of events, breakdancers around Australia say they have been the target of online abuse following a social media storm over Raygun's Olympic performance. So as you can see, what she did has done way more bad than good. It has done way more damage than anything. As his fellow breakdancer Leah Clark admitted she was a bit disappointed in Raygun's performance, but said she had earned her spot to compete in Paris. I have been a friend of Rachel and have competed against her for many years. I was so proud to watch her walk out, but the performance, I was a little shocked at what I saw, to be totally honest, Clark told Triple J's Hat. That's why I need to see video of her competing at these world championships against other people to see how she even got this spot. I need to see what the others did. Because if that's what she did to qualify to get all the way to the Olympics, then how bad did the other people do that she competed against? Rachel does have a quirky style and a unique character. To be honest, on a personal level, I was a bit disappointed. See, they're saying all these nice things about her to not say what it actually is. She sucks. Let's just be completely honest with ourselves here. The woman is horrible. She's terrible. And she poorly represented your nation. Let's just call it what it is. Some of those choices weren't the best for the Olympic stage. There were some questionable decisions made on her behalf. I praise her for being her authentic self, There is a huge amount of talent in Australia, but Rachel deserved to be there because she won the championships. We don't have access to compete at high-profile events regularly. The Australian B-girl scene is vast and powerful, and maybe that wasn't portrayed at the Olympics. I want y'all to look at this image right here. And before we go any further, shout out again to DSB for gifting 5 more memberships. I greatly appreciate it. We got Missions Vision, Stalemate, Simply Sandra, Douglas Muhammad, and Tamika's Den. I greatly appreciate it. And again, shout out to DSB.
Dollar happy dance.
Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at?
I appreciate it. Y'all look at this image, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. I'm trying to figure out, even from an aerial view, which looks like it could be a drone shot, what in the world is this? Shout out to Live from NYC for the 2. He said, does this make her a DEI? Do they even acknowledge DEI over there? But thank you for the 2.
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it.
I don't know what this is. I can't tell you. Clark says she can't even open her social media because it's flooded with trolls. It's just insane. She continued mentioning she and several other dancers have been communicating about how to handle the sudden explosion of negative publicity. My thing is this. Did you expect after doing this that you were not going to get any pushback? Like, they actually think this woman actually performed well. It's like, did we see something? We must have saw something completely different than you did. Maybe y'all got cataract and need your eyes checked. But I don't have the best vision. I wear glasses, and even without my glasses, I can see how horrible this is. The competitive girls have mixed emotions. We deeply care for Rachel, and we're worried about her and the amount of bullying she's getting. Nobody deserves that. We hope she's okay. On the other side, we're kind of like, what happened there? Some girls have been crying because they're completely embarrassed to enter the next competition. She said some dancers are terrified to compete because of what people might think. She also said the sport has taken a massive reputation hit and voiced concerns over future funding opportunities after breakdancing was quote unquote made a mockery of. Then why did you put her out there then? That's why I said I need to see footage of her competing at a world's championship that qualify her to get on that Olympic stage. Because if she did what she did on that stage there, then that's on them for scoring her so high and sending her there. But one thing they did get right, she definitely did make a mockery. On the same day, Andrew Voss put a stern question to Australians Olympic organizers after Raygun's performance on the world stage turned into a laughingstock. He questioned why Australia elected to send anyone to compete in breakdancing if Raygun was the standard. Thinks she's going to come back as a hero. She's been slammed for her performance because it was hopeless compared to other performers, he said on his SEN radio show with Greg Alexander. There are a lot of sports where we are not represented because we're not at the level of the Olympics. How did this get through? It's fine to say she was the best in the qualification, but if our best was hopeless, why did we send someone to compete in that discipline? So, as you can see, the people of Australia, now the people who put this petition together and the people that are questioning stuff like this, like the last person, that Andrew Voss character, those are the people that are keeping it real. Not what some people were saying in the previous article that I went through, that are just giving her these praises. Jabez said, why she's standing? She's not standing on the podium. She didn't win. She didn't even place. She didn't medal. She came dead last. So there's that article right there. Let's see if what y'all are talking about in the chat. Nazimova said some people would rather hear soft lies than hard truth. Exactly. FM says, get that B fired. She's gonna learn don't F with us. Noah says she wanted a free trip to Paris. I wouldn't be surprised. Real Deal says, I do not want to see any of Raygun shenanigans. Listen, I'm not gonna play the shenanigans, trust me. The Brooklyn Prophet says she rigged the qualifications, that's why she was selected. Possibly. Reparations Nation said the sad thing is she can call herself an Olympian now. Dark Titan says she looks like she's going to do the clock exercise on the big couch. Oh, the big comfy couch. Yeah, I remember that show. I used to watch that show. It used to come on PBS when I was a kid. JB said that bitch was bunny hopping and doing a workout routine. Adrian says the sad thing is that most don't even know the guy who represented Australia. He was actually good. Like I said, what she did, like they said, she made a mockery of it because you couldn't even tell. Some people who watched it couldn't even tell you who won gold for the women. Some of you who are watching couldn't even tell you who won gold for the men because her so-called performance overshadowed all of that. Scratch that. It wasn't a performance. It was a stunt. Let's be real here. That was a whole stunt that she did. But anyway, let me move on to the next article. And this too is coming from the Washington Post. And it says, viral Olympic B-girl Raygun says the hate has been devastating. Uh-oh. Here come the waterworks. I hope y'all got your boats and oars. It says Olympic B-girl dancer turned international meme Rachel Gunn, aka Raygun, has spoken out about the devastating misinformation and hate she's been subjected to after her unusual moves at the Paris 2024 competition were mocked online, went viral, and sparked a backlash. Again, did you really think no one was going to mock that? She actually thinks she was doing something up there. Gunn, who represented Australia at the Breaking World Championships in Paris in 2021 and Seoul in 2022, and is a university lecturer with research interests in breaking and street dance, finished far from the podium at the Olympics, but she won the hearts of many Australians for, oh God. Exactly, Ozzy. Y'all pull out your little tiny violin. You know what? I just realized something. I read this article already. It was on it was via Yahoo, but they titled it slightly different, so I thought this was a different article, so I don't even have to go through this, but y'all can just look at the title right there. Again, did you really think that people were not going to respond to this any other way? DSB, I'm a question what somebody else wrote in the chat. Did you go to the casino and get lucky? Because not only have you contributed 15 memberships, but now you done hit us with the 50. My goodness. Shout out to DSB for the 50. He said, looks like she was having a seizure to me, literally. I appreciate that.
I'm rich! I'm rich! I'm rich!
Someone say rich?
I appreciate the shout out to DSB. Put some money bag emojis in the chat for DSB. I appreciate that. Aaron said, ain't this the same woman that was trying to dance like a kangaroo? Yes, that is her. They even named the dance. They called it the kangaroo paw. The jokes write themselves, y'all. They write themselves. What is going on here? Denise said, oh, not to be outdone. She said, I see your 50 and raise you 100. Shout out to Denise for the 100. Put some hundreds in the chat. Put that 100 emoji, that 100 emoji in the chat. I appreciate that.
You ain't gotta be a dope boy to have money.
When you're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite.
Don't understand. Tell them to bring me my money.
Dollar happy dance. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at?
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count it.
I'm rich! I'm rich! I'm rich! Someone say rich?
For that, Denise, you get the first ever marathon of money drops. Denise done made history today, y'all, in this chat. But I appreciate that. I'm really appreciating all the support. You know what? This must be the bi-weekly week. Is this the bi-weekly pay week? And shout out to Till Dog for gifting 1 membership, and to that person it goes to Reparations Nation. What? I'm not gonna get through this, y'all. I'm not gonna get through this. DSB said, okay, I see your 100, Miss Nisi, and I have my 50, and I'm gonna raise another 50 to match you. What is going on here? What is really going on?
You ain't gotta be a dope boy to have money.
When you're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite.
What I say for you? Tell them to bring me my money.
Dollar happy dance. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at?
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up.
I'm rich! I'm rich! I'm rich! Someone say rich?
Oh my God, we got another super chat from live from NYC with a 20. And I think this is the second super chat you gave, so I think you up to 40. He says, you rich folks need to pay for Raygun's with Raygun's dance lessons. Denise and DSB, I appreciate it. Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. I am loving the outpour of support. You know what? This is breaking up the monotony because we are talking about the absolute ridiculousness of this woman and her being a so-called breaker, but y'all contributions are lightening the mood. But this is just a wild topic to talk about anyway. So I'm glad that y'all are all here. Again, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. We have 264 people in the chat right now. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. People are getting memberships. People are donating like crazy. We're talking about this woman who can't dance, who thinks she can dance. And it's only 4:41 p.m. on a Saturday. But I appreciate that. But let me just go ahead and go to the next article, because I think this one's going to put some stuff into perspective, because there's been some talks about Rachel's husband. Now, things have been going on about saying that Rachel's husband has something to do with it, but I didn't want to go and say that he did or if he didn't. But her husband definitely, in my opinion, plays some kind of a part in there. And before we go into this, shout out to Jad Bad for becoming a member of the channel. My goodness, I'm loving this. You know, with all these new members that I got, I think I'm gonna have to do a members only stream sometime soon. It's been a while since I've done a members only stream. If I do one, it might just be like a kickback stream or something like that. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a topic. Miss Renee said, is her husband black? No, her husband is Australian, just like she is. He is a white man. So let's go ahead and go over this article right here. It says, makes sense now. The real story behind Raygun's husband and the Olympic routine fiasco. The infamous Olympic debut made by Australian breakdancer, and we put that in heavy air quotes, Rachel Raygun Gunn, has audiences scratching their heads and wondering how she was chosen to represent and about her background in breakdancing. Now that people have seen videos of her husband and coach, the answer has become a little bit more clear to some harsh critics. Y'all, I'm not going to get through this. I'm not going to get through this. Shout out again to Miss Nisi for the 100. She said, one more again. Y'all better throw those hundreds in the chat. Now, see, now I got to do a marathon of the drops again. Thanks a lot, Miss Nisi, but let's go.
You ain't gotta be a dope boy to have money.
When you're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite.
What I say for you? Tell them to bring me my money.
$100 happy dance. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at?
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up.
I'm rich! I'm rich! I'm rich! Someone say rich?
I appreciate this. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. I appreciate all the contributions y'all are sending in right now. I really do. I really, 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 truly do. But back to this. So apparently her husband is her coach. If her husband is her coach and that's what she got up there on stage and did, that means he's just as a bad a dancer as she is. Now, I'm not going to play his videos either, but someone told me about this, and I saw a thumbnail of him doing something. I don't know what it was, but his leg was extended out. His arms was extended out with his leg. I don't know what he was trying to do. Just based off that imagery alone, I could tell this man was a bad dancer. So if that is her coach, her husband is her coach, and she got up there and did that, then that means he was the one that taught her these so-called moves, and that means he's a worse dancer than she is. It says, introducing Raygun's coach, Samuel Free, who is known in the breakdancing world as Sammy the Free. Samuel and the Australian Olympian, 36, have been married for years, and his influence on her breakdancing is undeniable. He may not be performing, but his mark will be in all of my moves, she said about her husband. So that means her husband going to catch the smoke too. And also going back to what Miss Renee said, asking was her husband black? Let me add on to this. If her husband was indeed black, her moves probably would have been a lot better than what she did, assuming that he had some rhythm. Now, if her husband was like an RG3 type, then what we saw up there on that stage is what we would have seen. Look at, my goodness, she looks like she's about to choke. Following her notorious Olympic debut, Samuel has also become a viral sensation as videos of his own breakdancing performances in Australia resurfaced online. The clips show him executing a series of peculiar moves that have left the internet bemused. From flinging himself... The details alone are funny enough. From flinging himself across the floor to theatrically lifting his pant leg. Just reading it, I'm visualizing how that looks. He said from flinging himself across the floor to theatrically lifting his pant leg. What does theatrically lifting your pant leg look like? What does that even look like? Do you just like put your leg out, you stomp it on the floor, you stomp your foot on the floor, and you grab your pant and say, huh? Is that what you do? Man, that's crazy. Oh, let me look. I almost lost my spot. It says Sammy's unconventional style has sparked a wave of criticism and confusion online. After watching the Australian dancer's video, some netizens felt he was just as bad as his PhD holding wife. Well, after learning about him theatrically lifting his pant leg and saying, I would say so. I would agree. Don't these people have access to YouTube to see what actual breakdancing is like? One person asked. I'm still scratching my head. You are just as bad as your wife. Embarrassing, read a second comment, while a third added, makes sense now. One wrote, That's the person who kept telling her she was ready for the Olympics. Can't figure out why you were so horrendous, said yet another. Now, here's a picture. Now, look at this, y'all. This is a picture of her and the husband. So this is her husband. This is the one who theatrically lifted his pant leg. And this is another one of them right there in Paris in front of the Eiffel Tower. Oh, Lord, they got a picture of it, but let me read this part. Let me read this part so we can get to this picture. They got a picture of him dancing. It's still about a week back. Raygun was relatively unknown outside of the Australian breakdancing community, but today, owing to her controversial Olympic performance, nearly everyone on the internet knows her name. Competing in the first ever Olympic women's breakdancing event, she failed to score any points against competitors from the USA, France, and Lithuania, losing all three round robin battles with scores of 18-0 3 times. The dancer grew up performing jazz, ballroom, and tap before being introduced into breakdancing at university by none other than Samuel. The dancing duo met in 2008 and married in 2018. After Samuel tore his ACL in 2017, they have dedicated their lives to building her breaking career. My guess is he tried to do something he had no business doing, and that's what ended up happening. Y'all, look at this. This is her husband. This is her husband. Oh, you know what? Now I think we see how he tore his ACL. I think we see how he did it. This almost kind of looks like that little kangaroo maneuver she was doing, except he's grabbing his knee all the way up. Like he's doing it's like a high leg lift. Man. That's why I said we don't even need to watch the video. This right here tells it all. And this says you are just as bad as your wife. I think it's safe to say, yes. If she learned from him and we saw what she did up on that stage, all we saw was a female version of him. What's going on, Mansa Musa? Oh my God. They keep posting that image. The couple revealed that their lives had completely changed after Raygun qualified for the Olympics. Samuel said he may have qualified as well, but chose to be a coach. Oh my, huh? You said you think you may have qualified as well? Okay. We were surprised when we heard breaking was going to be in the Paris Olympics. Rachel was the top woman in Australia, and I could probably have qualified, but I made the difficult but pragmatic decision to put my skills to use as a team coach instead, he told the Sydney Morning Herald in an interview with his wife. Qualifying for the Olympics has changed our lives, she said in the interview. Sammy probably would have liked to have been competing too, but we had a limited number of people in Australia with the expertise needed to coach. First off, he didn't need to be a coach either. He didn't need to be trying to perform in it. That him choosing not to dance was smart, but him choosing to be a coach was dumb. Aisha said, what were the qualifications and what were the standards? Well, to answer your first question, the qualifications should have been, in this case, to know what the hell you're doing as far as breaking, which clearly she didn't know, and neither does her husband / coach. And the standards, apparently they didn't have any if they got that far. Oh my, what is this? What is this? Look, this is another picture. What is this? What maneuver is this? There's another picture. What? I don't think I can stand like that. Chris said Raygun, and that's a hip hop name. No, that's her breaking name. Oh, there's multiple pictures. Let's see if this is like a slide. Wow. Terrible. And notice he only had he only has 339 likes on this post. I don't know how many he has on this one, but only 339 likes on this post, but over almost 1,400 comments. I can only imagine what they're saying, what they're saying about him under them comments, about him and his wife. It says, when it comes to her training, Samuel spoke about how there would be friction whenever he spoke to her as her coach and not her husband. But eventually he said he learned to take a soft approach. Rachel and I spent 2020 during that period training in our apartment. We had to find a new way of communicating. I'd be like, you need to do it faster, or why aren't you doing this? And there'd be friction when I talk to her like a coach instead of a husband. She needs a soft approach to know I'm not denigrating her. Now I say things like, as your husband, I'm in awe of how hard you're training and the progress you've made. But as your coach, I'm saying train harder, let's go. No, you should not have been a coach. No, you needed a coach. Again, if that's what was presented to the world, he's the one that needed a coach. What's going on, Andre? Is that when she qualified in February, we were literally jumping for joy. That's probably the only rhythmic thing they did was jump. If they could even have pulled that off. His 36-year-old wife admitted she can get defensive when her husband, coach, gives her feedback. Sometimes he'll give me feedback and I'll get defensive, she said, but I've learned to dig deep what's really happening here. And usually it's that I'm scared that he thinks I'm shit. Well, I think the world has come to realize that that is exactly what you are, you and your husband, it's when it comes to this. He says, so I'll say, just tell me you think I'm whack, and we end up laughing because he doesn't think that. Well, the world thinks that both of you are whack. What, y'all, what is this? So this is a picture of them. I'm not sure if that's their apartment or if that's a studio, but look at this. This article is hilarious, y'all. This is probably the funniest article we read so far about this, and we still got about 4 more things to go over. While some see her Olympic performance as a disaster, some is an understatement. Raygun still has the chance to earn millions because of the way she was catapulted to fame. She has an enormous brand marketing and public relations expert. Max Markson told the Daily Mail Australia, her reputation in Australia isn't that great, but she is famous across the world. And that was the whole point. They said you may have gone out there and embarrassed yourself in front of your nation. You made a mockery of an art form known as breaking, but you have gone viral. People know who you are. People are talking about you, and we can translate that into publicity and also translate that into dollars. So something tells me they're going to continue to try to pump her out there. I don't know how long, but let's just hope that her 15 minutes of fame doesn't go very far. He believes some Australian marketers might avoid striking up deals with her because of the events that transpired at the Olympic events. Well, I hope that none of them do. But on the other hand, there could be some strategic marketers willing to use her controversial stardom to their benefit. This could reward the breakdancer, I don't know why they call it that, because that's not what she's clearly not that, with hefty sums of money per deal. I don't think everyone else in other countries is conscious of how Australians feel about her, the marketing expert said. I think Australian marketers will be avoiding her for that reason, but there will be somebody in this country who will go for it, and that's what they're banking on. This is them sending out a dog whistle, hoping that somebody out there who's willing to deal with her in all of her controversy. It says post-Olympics, Raygun stayed back in Europe, possibly to take time off with Samuel and her loved ones. Now, for those who needed to see that image of that kangaroo maneuver, this is it right here. This is the one we were talking about. This, whatever this is. And shout out to Denise for the 5. Denise said, Raygun Olympics grift. Yeah, that's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to capitalize off of a huge L. That is exactly what they're doing. But look at that. This is that kangaroo thing. This is one of the main pictures that kept going viral on social media. Is this one right here. I have the strongest prediction that this is going to be a huge Halloween costume in October. Amir says that the T-Rex pose. I thought it was. When I first saw it, I said she looks just like a T-Rex. He also noted that international companies and global giants could show interest in wanting to work with her. She will get international offers from sports shoes brands like Adidas or Puma, food companies like McDonald's or KFC, electric cars like BYD, and she will get a phone company like Telstra or Optus or Vodafone. They reaching for the stars for this chick. Live said, well, shout out again for the 2. He says that's the Karate Kid before he did his kick. Listen, don't disrespect Daniel like that. But I appreciate the 2.
You ain't gotta be a dope boy to have money.
Cosmo said, what is it, the praying mantis? That's another good one, considering that she does look like a praying mantis and she's wearing green. Max also noted that Raygun's bank account could bulk up with amounts of up to $500,000 for an endorsement deal with brands like McDonald's or KFC. See what they're trying to do? They're trying to capitalize on bad press. They're saying, don't see this as a loss, because if we get you all these deals, which I don't even think they're going to get them, or even a chunk of them, we can turn this into a good thing. We can turn this into a money-making machine. Like they always say, capitalize on something while it's fresh. As long as the people keep talking about it, that means you're somehow still in the news. But remember, this is only over in Australia. This is not a global thing unless they try to get it with the McDonald's and KFC thing. But if they did do that, it would only be to the McDonald's and KFCs in Australia. It wouldn't be clearly over here. In addition to this, she could also make money from speaking to different audiences using her PhD and academic background. She has a PhD, she has a genuine background, so she will also get speaking engagements. She also has an appeal for kids. People will also want her for TV. There will be a TV gig for her in the next 6 months. Like they already have laid out a whole plan of how to keep her out there while she has this bad press surrounding her. After Raygun's Olympic stint in Paris, she did not return to Australia with her fellow Olympians who landed back in their home country on Wednesday, according to the Daily Mail. The report said the headline-making breakdancer will be staying back in Europe and possibly spending some time holidaying or vacationing with Samuel and her loved ones. And I think that's the last part of the article. This is a very interesting article right here. This is probably the most entertaining one so far that we have read. The Prince of Paraphernalia said, why didn't anyone on the American squad tell her that was runny goat shit? Who knows? They probably, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew what she was going to do and said, you know what, let her just go out there and embarrass herself. Andre said the media is already trying to prop this beat up as the face of breakdancers. They doing the same thing with that Asian girl who was lying about the history of breakdancing. They are trying to whitewash it. Wait till y'all see the last thing I'm going to show y'all. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but what you just said is going to definitely be very eye-opening. But let's go on ahead and move on to the next one. Now, this is very interesting too. Look at this. Peacock, which is the streaming platform owned by NBC, has removed Raygun and the entire Olympics breaking competition off the platform. So if you wanted to go back and watch any event from the Olympics, you could watch it on Peacock. However, because of what she did, they took the whole breaking competition off of the platform. They didn't just remove her part. They removed the whole thing off the platform. They said, we don't want this stench on there. So if you want to watch the breaking portion, you're gonna have to try to find a video online. I know that NBC, I think, had an Olympics YouTube channel or a sports YouTube channel where they were posting the different highlights from the different events. So if it's still up there, that's the only way you'll be able to see it. If not, you just won't see it. Exactly, Don P. They are treating it as if it never happened. So let's see what they're talking about here. While breaking, aka breakdancing, but also definitely don't call it breakdancing, made its debut at the 2024 Paris Olympics just 6 days ago, it appears as though Peacock has wiped the sport off the platform, leaving just 4 clips. None of them featuring actual Olympic performances on the breaking hub of the platform. Breaking's run at the Olympics was short in every way. Not only did the competition last a brief 2 days, but it has also been decided that there will be no Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's to say, the sport will not appear at the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. And that was decided well before Australia's 36-year-old Rachel Gunn, aka Raygun, kangaroo hopped her way to viral infamy when she lost all 3 breaking battles she competed in and scored a total of 0 points along the way. Now, peep what they just said right there. They said that breaking is not going to be in the 2028 Olympics, and that was decided before Rachel did whatever she was going up there to do. So that means they already made up in their minds before she got up on that stage and embarrassed herself that they were not going to bring breaking back. But after she did what she did, they said, yeah, we made the right decision. Because her going up there didn't give them no incentive to say, you know what, maybe we should keep this. Since Raygun's controversial performance, the college professor by day, breaker by night, has received hate from many viewers who claim that she should never have been given a spot on the Australian Olympic team, and her confusing dance moves to appear to have tarnished what would have otherwise been a monumentous occasion for the sport. Rumors that Raygun's husband was on the Olympic breaking selection committee have ultimately been dispelled by the Australian Breaking Committee, and historically, Raygun ranked first or second on Australia's list of nationally ranked B girls from 2020 to 2023. The official Olympic site has also a detailed description of the rigorous process of qualifying to compete in the sport at the Olympics. So that was the ongoing rumor that her husband was a part of the committee, but it turns out that just simply was not true. But that last article that we talked about, that said a lot. While Raygun performance is probably not the kind of attention the sport is hoping for right now, it doesn't explain why there are no competitive breaking performances available on Peacock, and only one performance of US B-boy Victor, who took home a bronze medal on the NBC Sports official YouTube channel. Some theorists online note that it's likely because of a music rights issue, and considering that Peacock viewing hub for artistic swimming, another sport that relies on setting performance to music, is also nearly vacant. That could be the case. Now, I didn't think of it that way. Now, I don't know if y'all peeped this or not, but did y'all notice at the Olympics this year the amount of presence that Michael Jackson had during some of these events? I mean, with the synchronized swimming, it was one girl who was doing the artistic gymnastics. She did hers to Thriller, and another one, she did her artistic gymnastics to In the Closet. And if you look at the attire that both girls had on, they both were Michael Jackson inspired. I keep telling y'all better stop trying to say that no one knows who Michael Jackson is, or y'all gonna try to keep tarnishing this man's legacy. This man been gone for over 15 years. And he got people in the Olympics who were probably very young when he passed, who are using his music and theme for their events. Oh yeah, Jermaine, I saw what Tank said. Tank is a fool for that. I don't care if he's from the area or not. No, do not say that. Even Chris Brown said out of his own mouth that he's not better than Michael Jackson. He's flattered by it, but don't call me better than him. Don't say that I'm better than he is. Though the Olympics has procedures in place to ensure that copyrights and licensing is above board, those don't necessarily imply indefinite broadcast rights for that music. It appears as though the short shelf life for some Olympics coverage on the platform was already predetermined, and some sports have already left the platform. When Decider reached out to Peacock, they confirmed the Olympics Hub will be accessible on the Peacock homepage from the main navigation menu until August 20th, at which time the Paralympics Hub will replace it and be available until September 9th. Peacock subscribers can also access and search for Olympics and Paralympics content in the Sports Hub until December 1st, 2024, though full replays for some sports were available only through the end of the games. Peacock also confirmed that prior to certain events being taken off the platform, there was a very visible notice on the platform letting users know when specific Olympic content was going to no longer be available. It's not as though viewers can find footage of Raygun and the rest of the Olympic breaking athletes elsewhere online, but if you're looking to catch any official competition highlights, you have to piece together the footage on non-NBC or Peacock platforms. So there's that. And Ms. Nisi wrote in the chat earlier, she said, bravo and shout out to Peacock. So whether or not it's because of how badly this was, or it was the music thing, it seems like they're heavily leaning on the copyright thing with the music. You're not going to find this, what you see on your screen, on there. And you know what? If I had Peacock, I would be fine with that. And of course, this I'm gonna just show y'all this screenshot, even though it was already talked about. It just says the Olympics in 2028 in LA is basically breaking, is not going to be there. So yeah, they said it was fun while it lasted. It really wasn't. If it wasn't for KG Kid Gravity showing the highlights of this, I wouldn't have given this a second glance. Well, a first glance, I should say. So there's that. Now, the last thing I want to show you, like I said, has nothing to do with this topic, but I wanted to show you this screenshot that I came across on X about an hour or a little over an hour ago. Look at this right here. Look at this. It was posted today. And it's happening. It's this thing called Hip Hop Media Panel with no black people. Make it make sense. Get to know hip hop media analysts. This, y'all, hip hop media analysts. And this is happening in New York, by the way, where everyone arguably can say the birth of hip hop. I see an Arab. I see a guy who looks like he might be Latino. I see an Asian girl, and I see two PC males. Not one black person on this panel. It's going to be in New York on August 29th. Ironically, we just brought up Michael Jackson. August 29th is this man's birthday. Conversation with Joey Badass, the only black person mentioned on here, and that's who they're talking to. Shout out to Wall Street Tech for the two, they said, potato salad judges. That's
when
crazy.
You're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite, Woodrow.
That exactly, Jermaine. That's the irony. It's going to be in New York again. If Kid Gravity didn't post about this on his page, I would not have known about it. And I said, let me just go ahead and throw this right here at the end of toward the end of the stream. They don't have not one black person up there, just like they didn't have excuse me, they didn't have one black American representative to be in the breaking event at the Olympics. And we all know that breaking and hip hop are like cousins. They're family. You can have one. Well, you really can't have one without the other. I mean, who's out there breaking to jazz music or country music, I should say? It only goes in one spot, to be quite honest with you. It's like when hip hop became the number one genre of music, that's when I started to really see the shift happen. And like I said before, if you look up, the biggest consumers of hip hop music are not even the people who created it. It's people like you see on this screen, but then have the nerve to try to tell us that quote unquote urban / thug / black culture is bad, but they are the biggest consumers of said culture. FM says they did have a black man representing the U.S. I think he was Haitian. I know who you're talking about. He was Haitian American. And he was the one, I think he went up against that Asian guy. And I think he was the one that got the bronze. They didn't even get anybody out of the diaspora to be on this panel. They said it's going to be in 131 Green Street in New York. If I have anybody in New York, can y'all tell me where in New York that is? What borough that is? But I just wanted to bring that up because I know most of y'all or none of y'all probably saw this. Oh, you said that's in Manhattan, Soho, Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. Okay, well, that explains that. That explains that. And I actually posted this up in Rob's Discord, and we was having a discussion about it right before I got on here to do this. And he says, nobody knows who these people are. And I said, you're right. No one knows who they are. I have no clue who they are. I've never heard of any person on this in this picture a day in my life. The only person I was familiar with is Joey Badass. Because that's who apparently they're going to be talking to. But that's all. That's all I had. I could say more, but y'all pretty much get the gist of it. But anyway, y'all, that is going to bring this stream to a close. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out. This has been one of the best streams that I feel like I've done in quite some time, to be quite honest with you. Shout out to Live from NYC, Ozzy Edwards, DSB for contributing 15 memberships, and for the hundo, Denise for the for the 100+ that she donated. Live from NYC again, Till Dog gifted a membership. Jad Bad became a member. Wall Street Tech, and also to the person that sent me the Cash App. I greatly appreciate it. There won't be a premiere video tomorrow because tomorrow is True Crime Sunday. Y'all find out. I'm gonna actually put that window up for the True Crime Sunday after this is done, and you'll find out what that's going to be about. Everybody who's over there on Patreon Y'all have already seen who the topic is going to be on. We'll be over on Patreon tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Again, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the members, the mods, the people who send me the stories on X, in Discord. If you're not in Discord, join the Discord. Everybody on Instagram, all of that good stuff. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.